All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to break down a super common English expression. And trust me, it's for a situation we have all been in, trying to hit a goal that just refuses to sit still. So, to get us started, I want to set a scene. Let's talk about a frustrating workplace experience that I think is going to feel, well, pretty familiar to most of you. Let me just ask you this. Have you ever had that feeling where you're working on a project, you're almost there, you can see the finish line, and then, boom, the goalposts move? All of a sudden, what you were aiming for has changed. Yeah, if you're nodding your head right now, you are definitely not alone. It's a really common and, honestly, a very real frustration. But here's the good news. There's a perfect English phrase to nail down this exact feeling. So let's put a name to this problem, right? Here's the idiom you absolutely need in your toolkit for this situation. And that expression is, it's a moving target. So what does that mean? Well, a moving target is basically any objective or goal that's constantly shifting, which makes it, almost impossible to plan for. Just think about it. Trying to shoot an arrow at a target that's zipping all over the place? That's the exact feeling this phrase captures so perfectly. Okay, so a definition is one thing, but let's see how this phrase actually works out in the wild. We're going to walk through a pretty typical business conversation. So let's imagine this. Your manager, we'll call her Sarah. She comes over to your desk. She says, "Hey, Mike, how's the Q3 marketing strategy coming along? Are we on track to finalize it next week?" A totally standard, normal project check-in. And here is Mike's fantastic reply. He says, "Honestly, Sarah, it's been a bit of a challenge. Our target demographics keep shifting, so it feels like it's a moving target right now." You see what he did there? He's not just making an excuse for being behind. He's describing the nature of the problem itself. And this right here, this shows the best possible outcome. Sarah's response is totally collaborative. She says, "I hear you. Let's schedule a quick call with the team to discuss how we can adapt." So the phrase didn't create a conflict. It actually created understanding and opened up a path to find a solution together. All right, so just knowing the phrase is great, but using it strategically, now that's what makes your communication truly powerful. So let's dig into that kind of pro-level nuance. When you use this phrase, you're actually doing three really smart things all at once. First, you're managing expectations around your deadlines. Second, you're explaining the difficulty of the situation without sounding defensive. And third, and this one is so important, you shift the focus away from blaming any one person and towards the complexity of the task itself. Let's just double down on that last point because it really is the secret sauce. Using this phrase sends a clear signal. The roadblock isn't a lack of effort on your part. The difficulty is just built into the task. It's not an excuse, it's a very precise diagnosis of the problem. Okay, so you've seen the definition, you've seen the example, you've seen the strategy. Now it's your turn. Let's test what you've picked up. So let's put it to the test. When is it most appropriate to say it's a moving target? Is it A, to describe a goal that's clear and achievable? B, to explain that the project requirements just keep changing? Or C, to present a stable financial report to your stakeholders? Go ahead and think about it for a second. All right, pencils down. If you picked B, you absolutely nailed it. That's precisely when you use it, when things are in flux and the requirements just won't stay put. And that brings us to our final thought for today. As you go through your week, I want you to think about this. What's a moving target that you're dealing with right now? Because remember, being able to name the challenge is always the first step to actually hitting it. Thanks for tuning in.